Hey Taurus, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. Okay, I'm looking at the Ten of Cups. And the Sun. At this point, you're getting a clear idea about where you're meant to be, what you're meant to be connecting with. Whereas before you could have been like, I don't know what's going to make me happy or what I need to feel fulfilled, things like that, or like how my life should look in order to feel at peace about it. Now at this point, I feel like there's a much deeper knowing of those things within yourself, like especially your internal values, things that when you're connected to those things, you feel plugged into like the rest of the world, or plugged into your life, or plugged into your spirituality, all of the above and beyond those things. So it feels like this is a recognition sort of your story here. And that's not to say that this has like all been easy, or that you don't feel sad sometimes, or you don't feel other things sometimes, but it's like for the most part I feel like I'm getting a really good understanding of how I want to be living my life and what it feels like when those things feel right, and also how to bring things back on track when it's not feeling like that, so I can be in a space that's reflective of my values and of my needs as well. Feels again like an acceptance of your journey, an acceptance of your story, like that. I'm seeing something about a relationship coming up. Okay. I'm seeing you hanging out with this person. You may have gone through something in the past with them. You could have had a cycle close out with them in the past before, or just had something happen. Would have been something that felt difficult to move through with this person. Lovers and Three of Cups, somebody that you have an interest in, somebody that you have a connection with. Three of Cups is like spending time with them, hanging out with them, that sort of thing. But I'm seeing you actually come out as the Queen of Swords here. So you could be playing it cool a little bit. Even though this is something that you care about, you can feel like you haven't like totally lost control within it. And you can also be being mindful, or like I shy away from using the word careful because I feel like it sounds kind of ominous, but you may feel like you're being not careful in a way where you're not fully engaged, because I am seeing you look like you're fully engaged here, like fully participating, but also not like completely losing yourself. So I'm seeing you go into something and feel like your head is still level, and maybe that's not something that you've sort of moved through in the past when you've been connected with someone. You could feel like in the past you kind of lose yourself to the situation or to the person, feel like not yourself. And then the time that you spend on your own, it's like coming back home to yourself and being like, why can't I be like that when I'm like in a relationship with someone, or that type of thing. But I'm seeing it kind of be a different story this time around. Like you're not losing that part of yourself to this, you're keeping it intact. Okay. Could have wondered if you were going to stay alone, end up alone, like that type of thing. But it could have been because of your circumstances, or like your upbringing, or things like that. Just stuff related to like environments that you had been in. You could have been like what am I supposed to do with this? Kind of feeling like maybe you couldn't work with what you had. But I'm seeing you be in a different spot now. But that could have been how you initially felt. Like I'm seeing somebody come through when you feel particularly alone or something like that. somebody coming through and being like, it doesn't have to be like that. This can be like a guide of some sort, but I'm seeing it more so as somebody that, like, I'm seeing you in this Five of Swords. Five of Swords, you can feel isolated, you can feel alone, you can feel hopeless in some type of circumstance. This can be a general thing, it can be a situational thing, it can be something that sort of cascades into different cycles. I'm seeing you be this like younger energy here within the Five of Pentacles, and whatever your dilemma is or whatever your situation was that could have made things difficult for you, I'm seeing like a figure that looks like an adult in some way, or like a grown up, or somebody that's been through things, had experiences, and I'm seeing somebody that has like the same trait as you or the same situation. So like if you have a thing that you feel like is your thing that maybe makes things more difficult for you based off of like really anything at all, any part of your experience, I'm seeing somebody that you're like, oh, you have that thing too, and I'm seeing them kind of come through and be like, well, if I've been able to make it and work with this, like it feels like one of those situations where you can look at somebody and be like, I have hope because of being able to see this person working with the same or similar circumstance that I'm in, that before I felt hopeless about, but now I'm seeing that there is hope because I'm able to see this other person sort of working within that. But you could have felt like on your own before that point, is what I'm seeing here, Taurus. And you could have also felt protective of yourself as well. Like, I have to protect myself, and then potentially at times feeling lonely because of that. And it's like maybe wanting to infuse the two of these things. Like, can you be in this position of the Queen of Swords where you're not losing yourself, but then also still be able to have connection, the type of connection that you're looking for? This can be a thing with a mother figure of some sort or a feminine figure of some sort, but I'm also seeing stuff. I'm seeing sun and I'm seeing moon, so there can be like archetypally like father stuff that's connected with this, and there can also be mother archetype stuff. Archetype doesn't have to do with gender, it's like the archetype of the roles that are played, but I'm seeing like a father archetype and I'm seeing a mother archetype, and so there could have been something with like the family system or something along the lines of that. You could have also felt disconnected from your feminine energy as well. But I feel like this also has to do with your masculine too. Because your sun is going to be the basis of your masculine energy, and the moon will be the basis of your feminine energy, even though there are other like planets and positions that can represent that. I see the sun and the moon as like the basic form of masculine and feminine, and like everything else sort of like builds off of that. So I'm seeing something archetypally with like both of those things that had been being worked out on. Like now I'm looking at this card and I'm seeing someone like reaching for another person, but it could have felt like someone was like around you but just out of reach. Like I'm seeing somebody's energy be around you. This is where the sun is, so this can be something with like a father energy or something like that. I'm seeing someone's like presence energetically around you, and it being something that can feel even like a comforting presence around you, but I'm seeing it almost like you can't touch it, like it may not be tangible physically. This is reminding me of even having like an ancestor or like someone who's left their body like being around you, like their spirit being around you or something like that. Or it can be like somebody at a distance from you, or it can be somebody that you like craved being closer with in a certain type of way, and they were just like just out of reach in that way. It can be like that type of thing. That's what I'm seeing here. And that could have, that could have been the situation for you where you were like, this is that challenging circumstance that was being referred to before, where you were like, well, because of dealing with this, I don't know if I'll ever be able to have that in my life, or if this is sort of a hopeless situation for me. But then I'm seeing that shift, and I'm actually seeing it shift when there's like this feminine energy that enters into your life. And that can also be you connecting with that part of yourself as well. And it's something that helps you tune in and feel the connection. This is feeling like really, really spiritual, whatever this is, that's been moving through you. So you can feel like this has been like a big thing internally for you that you've been moving through. So you go from feeling like alone or feeling isolated in this way, or feeling disconnected, or feeling like these are sort of hopeless circumstances here, to then I'm seeing you be, I don't know how you learn this. I don't know if like somebody came in and taught you this, or you taught yourself that, or it's like a mixture of things, but I'm seeing you then be able to tune in and connect more with that energy that was around you, but you could have felt like you couldn't touch it, like it wasn't so tangible for you. And it feels too like there's a recognition of like, this was supposed to be your situation, this is supposed to be your story, even if it was something that you could have felt like you were in some really impoverished is the word that's coming through. You could have felt like the circumstances that you were in, they were just something that would have just been a challenge. It would have been something that didn't feel like an easy circumstance to be working within. And so there can be that feeling of like, I guess that's just the end of this and that part of my story. But then it feels like recognizing that this was actually a key component of your story, and it was also supposed to be like this as well. But it may have not been something that you saw before this point, but then I'm seeing there be this understanding. And it feels like it can allow you now to feel empowered within your relationships. This is something in general, like now in my interpersonal relationships, or now in my romantic relationships, I feel like I'm able to fully show up now, whereas I didn't feel like I was able before, because I was disconnected from that part of myself. So it feels like a reunion with that part of yourself, a reuniting, a reclamation. And I'm seeing an overall healing energy too. You would feel this mainly within your partnerships, I'm seeing. This is where a big chunk of this would be felt. Wow, how about that? I'm also seeing you get a lot more, there's a lot more nuance with the way that you connect with your intuition. Like high discernment here that you've been developing. I think too that there had to be like a logical way of sort of working with your circumstances. So it required a lot of different angles for you to work with this. And it feels like it was something that you could have felt like this made me have to be smarter about certain things, or this helped me develop my intuition. This helped me develop my discernment, because now I'm seeing you pop out at the end looking like there's a very high function, you're within a high functioning energy here. So you can feel like you're rational, you can feel like you're logical, you can feel like this forced you into being in a position where you had to be a problem solver if you were willing to use this situation for that. But I'm also seeing too that you're not now disconnected anymore from things like emotionally and intuitively and spiritually. I'm seeing that go hand in hand with you. So you're not just the Queen of Swords, which is like, I'm only gonna like recognize what it is that I'm experiencing or seeing firsthand. Having Page of Cups here is like, I'm in tune with that part of myself that receives messages and gets feelings and even has this communication. Some of you can even feel like you're communicating with like spirits and stuff like that, or stuff that's like sort of behind the veil that you're able to access can be part of this too. Some of you, I'm getting something about talking with animals. just stuff that would be sort of outside of the norm is what I'm seeing. And even if it's something that may fall more into the realm of the norm, it can be like a high level skill, like very sensitive intuition, or like gut feelings that you get, or like messages that you receive, communication from your guides, things like that. And also discerning what those things mean, and also discerning what your emotions mean too, and the messages within that as well. Even though you can feel like it's been a bit of a trial, like it hasn't been easy, you can feel like it's been something that's like fortified you, and also allowed you to see how far your willingness can carry you when you're willing to work with your circumstances. Adverse circumstances. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'm seeing Sun, Moon, Venus, Gemini, Aquarius, and Leo is on the bottom of the deck. Thank you everybody for tuning in and connecting. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.